an appalling revelation, it has been found that the government distributed millions of rupees to the public officials under what it said encouragement allowance. The issue has raised furor as the decision was never made public, even as the government has started a practice of holding weekly press conference where it publicizes every decision made by the government. Good morning, I am Prarambha Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. The government found to secretly distribute encouragement allowances to public officials. The revelation raises speculations whether other big decisions are also hidden. The anti-graft body CIAA filed 60% more corruption cases this fiscal year. The number of cases involving abuse of authority considerably less. US President Donald Trump says the US is imposing hard-hitting new sanctions on Iran, including on the office of Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. And Bangladesh Tigers tame Minnows Afghanistan by 62 runs in the ICC World Cup clash as Saqib Al Hasan produces a record all-round performance with the bat and ball. Let us now begin with the latest national political updates. It has been revealed that the government has kept the public in the dark in regards to many decisions taken by the Council of Ministers. The government has been found implementing the decision made by the cabinet of providing 50% encouragement allowance to public officials without informing the public. As per the government's practice, a press conference is held every week on Thursday to announce the cabinet's decisions once approved by the Chief Secretary. The decisions are also uploaded on the government's website. However, the government has been found concealing controversial decisions along with the decisions taken for the vested interests of high-ranking government officials. The Finance Ministry issued a budget of 103.2 million rupees for encouragement perks for the Customs Office. Likewise, 19.9 million rupees was issued for the Office of Senior Government Attorneys as extra time allowances. Another 6.54 million rupees was issued for the Office of the Attorney General. The Finance Ministry issued a total of 180 million rupees from the state coffers in the name of encouragement perks last month. 2 months back, the Office of the Vice President and the Passport Department had received budget for similar purpose. The Finance Ministry has stated it issued the encouragement allowance based on the letter it received from the Prime Minister's office. According to the Finance Ministry, it issued the budget based on the decision made by the Cabinet on the 4th of February. However, the decision is not in the list published on the websites of the Communications and Information Technology Ministry and the Office of the Council of Ministers. The announcements made by the Communications Minister on the 7th of February does not include encouragement allowance. Likewise, the list published on the 4th of February on the website of the Office of the Prime Minister does not mention of the encouragement allowance either. So far, top-notch officials at the Prime Minister's office have refrained from making any comments on the issue. The current government had started the practice of holding a weekly press conference to announce the cabinet's decision so as to update the public about the government's moves. Prior to this, the government spokesperson used to announce of the cabinet's decision right after each meeting. The incident of the encouragement allowance has raised questions if the public are kept unaware of other bigger decisions as well. The Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority (CIAA) has filed 60% more cases of corruption in the 11 months of the ongoing fiscal year compared to the same period last year. The authority has filed corruption cases against 770 individuals. However, the number of individuals who have amassed wealth by abusing the authority is considerably less. The authority filed a total of 309 cases at the special court so far in the 11 months of the ongoing fiscal year, which is 60% more than the number last year. Based on the records of the authority, the corruption cases filed amounts to around 2.21 billion rupees, considering the fine amount taken from main accused. 121 of the cases have been filed against 166 convicts in corruption cases, while the authority has found out a corruption transaction of 16.8 million rupees. Based on the records, the maximum amount has been filed against the then CIAA Commissioner Rajnaran Pathak itself of 7.8 million rupees. Likewise, 60 cases have been filed against 352 individuals on charges of inflicting damage to properties, with the main accused being charged a fine of 1.48 billion rupees. Similarly, 39 individuals have been charged just over 150 million rupees in the 10 cases related to misappropriation in revenue collection. There are also 88 cases related to fake education certificates. Meanwhile, the CIAA has only filed 11 cases of abuse of authority amounting to 520 million rupees. Among the convicts, former Managing Director of Nepal Oil Corporation, Gopal Khatka, is involved in the highest amount of corruption worth 180 million rupees. The Parliament State Affairs Committee directed the Home Ministry to carry out all necessary investigations on the killing of Kumar Podal, the district in charge of Sarlai of the Netrabikram Chand-led Bifra group, and furnish a report within a week. The State Affairs Committee had summoned Home Minister Ram Bahadur Thapa earlier yesterday for discussion, directing the ministry to submit a report on the incident within a week. Home Minister Thapa claimed Podal was killed in a cross-firing after Podal and his team fired at a police patrol. However, several lawmakers from the ruling Nepal Communist Party itself expressed disbelief towards the minister's statement, citing deceased Podal's hands had fractures when his body was found. Lawmaker Janardhan Sharma, who was a deputy commander in the erstwhile Maoist rebel army, claimed the condition of Podal's body indicated he was killed while he was under police control. According to the information shared by the Home Ministry, Podal was killed in a cross-firing on the 20th of June in Sarlai's Lakhandehi forest. It is now time for a short break, but for more news, to stay with us. Like in every past season, the farmers in the country have been hit by an acute shortage of chemical fertilizers. The planting season is just about to start in the Kathmandu Valley, while it has already started in different parts of the country. However, like in earlier years, farmers have been hit hard by a shortage of chemical fertilizers at the advent of the planting season. Instead of busying themselves in farming activities, farmers have been forced to taking rounds of the Salt Trading Corporation offices, Agriculture Input Company and local cooperative offices. The Salt Trading Corporation and the Agriculture Input Company are the sole distributors of chemical fertilizers across the country. However, due to the lax efforts by these state-owned companies, farmers have been at the receiving end. The government had released 9 billion rupees in 2 installments for the procurement of chemical fertilizers, but administrative lapses on behalf of the Agriculture Ministry meant that farmers have to remain without fertilizers despite the start of the planting season. In the Public Voice segment, we asked the female representatives elected from the wards of Siddhicharan municipality how has their role been so far. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
2 वर्ष भयो म निर्वाचित भएर आएको अहिलेसम्म मेरो भूमिका के हो कस्तो छ के छ भनेर मैले बुझ्न सकेको छैन मिटिङमा चाहिँ बोलाउनुहुन्छ
बजेट छुट्याएर लक्षित कार्यक्रम बनाएर समूहका महिलाहरूलाई कार्यक्रम राखेको छु
अध्यक्ष कायम टाढा डुल्न जानु हुँदाखेरि मैले नागरिकको बनाउने कोसिस गर्दिए अनि बिहे दर्ता गर्नेलाई अनि जन्म दर्ता गर्नेलाई अर्सक लेखा परिचय नि सर मेरो
टोलटोलमा रोड लाने एकजना अनि खानेपानी अहिले त्यतिमै
योजनाहरू गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ एउटा रोडमा भयो खानेपानी भयो अनि बिजुली भयो अनि अब त्यो योजनाहरूमा चाहिँ त्यस्तै काम हुन्छ
योजनाहरू चाहिँ यहाँ हामीले त्यसलाई फेरि परिमार्जन गरेर कुन ठाउँमा लाने भन्ने हुन्छ त्यसमा पनि आफ्नो ठाउँलाई चाहिँ अलिकति आफै भएपछि त्यसलाई चाहिँ जोड दिएर पनि छुटाउनै पर्छ हुनै पर्छ यो कार्यक्रम हाम्रो आवश्यकता हो भनेर चाहिँ भन्न सकिन्छ
It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, what could be the reason for shortage of chemical fertilizers during every planting season? Your options are A. Administrative lapses, B. Apathy towards farmers, and C. Commission gains. The voting is on. You can type NEWS, select your option A, B or C, and then send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. With this, let us move on to the sports news.
Sports news.
Uruguay and Chile have progressed to the quarterfinal round of the continental tournament Copa America. Uruguay secured a 1-0 win against Chile to progress to the last 8 as Edinson Cavani scored the only goal of the match in the second half. While Uruguay were the group winners, Chile, despite the loss, also made it to the last 8 as group runners-up. In another match played this morning, Japan and Ecuador settled for a 1-1 draw. Sweden has progressed to the quarterfinal round of the FIFA Women's World Cup underway in France. Sweden brushed aside Canada 1-0 to secure its berth in the last 8. Both the sides had failed to find the net in the first half. Stina Blackstenius scored the only goal of the match in the 55th minute for Sweden. Prior to this, America, France, England and Norway had progressed to the quarterfinals.
Sweden celebrate and Canada's World Cup is over.
It is now time for our daily special segment, Sports Buzz.
Following a string of one-sided matches, the ICC One-Day Cricket World Cup has suddenly come alive as heavy underdogs Sri Lanka turned the table against host England, one of the top contenders to lift the World Cup this time around. The Sri Lankan victory has dented the safe passes for the English team into the last 4. Although England can still qualify for the semi-finals, the last 4 route doesn't seem easy enough, as the next 3 matches are scheduled against Australia, New Zealand and India. Since England have a better run rate, they have a good chance for the last 4 finish. The English fans are currently hoping that there are no further hiccups in terms of results for England, which was billed as having the best shot at the World Cup in the lead up to the cricket's most coveted tournament. The second edition of Gorilla Trail Race, an ultra-marathon event, has been held on the foot trails used by former Maoist rebels in Rukum and Rolpa districts. The organizers have tried to simultaneously promote war tourism and sports by holding the event. Bhume municipality in the west of Rukum organized the event in a bid to promote war tourism and sports development. The foot trails used by former Maoist rebels during the course of 10 years insurgency period is referred as a guerrilla trail. The ultra run started from Mahat in Bhume municipality, going through Rolpa's Thawang, Jaljala, Maring, Lakum, Kankri and Kabang. The best 3 finishers in men and women category from Guerrilla Trail also qualified for Golden Trail Race, an international event to be held later this year in Nepal. West Rukum's Durga Rasbura won the 52-kilometer grueling race covering the distance in 6 hours, 15 minutes and 15 seconds. Likewise, the women's category was won by Bhutan's Humi Budamagar, who clocked 7 hours, 18 minutes and 35 seconds for the same distance. This is Amit Bakurel for Kantipur News Desk.
And now before we wrap up, here's a look at the top stories one more time. The government fund to secretly distribute encouragement allowances to public officials. The revelation raises speculations whether other big decisions are also hidden. The anti-graft body CIAA filed 60% more corruption cases this fiscal year. Graft cases filed against 770 individuals, the number of cases involving abuse of authority considerably less. US President Donald Trump says the US is imposing hard-hitting new sanctions on Iran, including on the office of Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. And Bangladesh Tigers tame Minnows Afghanistan by 62 runs in the ICC World Cup clash as Saqib Al Hasan produces a record all-round performance with the bat and ball. That is all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day ahead.